Hey everyone, this is Charles Mitri from loungeboudoir.com, and today in this episode of Boudoir Pose Breakdown, we're going to take a look at a pose that I call Standing S-Curve. I mentioned this pose briefly in an article I wrote called Why Some Boudoir Poses Work and Others Don't, but it's such an iconic pose that I wanted to give it its own breakdown. So without further ado, let's dive into Standing S-Curve. This is not only one of my favorite standing boudoir poses, but it's also one of my favorite boudoir poses in general. You wouldn't think that a simple standing pose could deliver such impact, but I believe this one does. This pose is a study of everything that's right with a boudoir pose, as far as forming triangles and S-curves with the body. Interestingly enough, the S-curve is not formed from the outline of the female form, but rather how she holds her body. And it's one big long S-curve from the top of her head down to her toes, which you don't see in this image, but I'll outline it right here for you. So the S-curve goes like this, like that. And the triangles that it forms are as follows. There's one with her right arm here. There's another one with her other arm. And these triangles are, it's not an exact geometry. It's kind of an overall shape. There's one that's formed with her leg. They're kind of like constellations. You have to kind of fill in the blanks here. It's important that her chin is facing in the direction of that bent elbow on her right side. There's like leading lines right down her body. You know, her chin is pointing in this direction, which leads to the elbow right here. And then the arm kind of extends this way, and it kind of goes down to the knee, and then the knee takes another turn right there. And it's a pose where the shape of the body kind of guides your eye from top to bottom down her form. And that alone is pretty unique within a boudoir pose, I think. With this sheer wrap that she's wearing and the sheer curtains, this particular image creates this sort of ethereal fantasy type vibe, which is cool. I like that. So what is this pose saying? To me, this pose in this particular image is saying, I feel comfortable in my skin. I'm sexy, sensual, very relaxed. She looks very comfortable in this pose. It's open to interpretation, but that's what it says to me. And like I mentioned before, one of the big keys of this pose, of course, is the chin pointing down to the elbow here, this arm pointing down really to the knee here, and then this knee going in the opposite direction to form that overall S-curve there. Also, creating these spaces here, that's another key. And shooting it as a partial silhouette, you get this nice highlighted line right there on her face. The second half of her face sort of falls into shadow. I like that kind of play between light and shadow. It adds depth and dimension to the image. And that's it for Standing S-Curve. So if you like these videos, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe. I appreciate it. This is a simple, short video. I appreciate your time, and I will see you at a future point in the YouTube universe.